All right, guys, I'm live again. Steve Penderbeard got me rocking and rolling on something here that hits me right at home. So I hope y'all come in and we could get to talking about this, and then you'll understand the meaning of my title to this stream. So come on in, take your shoes off, stay a while. Hello, whoever's in here. I see one person here. Come on in. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. Here we go with some more passion, guys. This is something I'm very passionate about, and people need to take the time to learn about. Hey, Eggs, how are you, bro? Um, I just got an argument with an idiot and a moron in 1911 string. She thinks that all modern medicine is a modern convenience. I hate to tell you, everything that we call modern medicine has been used since man has known how to use medicine, including compression bandages, including uh, uh, including. I'm not telling anybody what to do, Stephen Tunis, you know, brat. I'm making a great suggestion. Uh, uh, but she needs that girl needed to learn that Kika, whatever. She needs to learn. She needed to learn instead of quit making excuses. You don't make excuses to sex cures everything. Well, it cures a lot, Tunis. It really does. I agree. Um, that girl needed to learn that throughout the years, what we call modern medicine has been used throughout the years. Uh, some of it worked, some of it didn't. Now, now what she needs to learn is modern medicine, what we call modern medicine today, has been around for thousands of years. It's just what it has been improved upon over the years and made it work better. You ain't getting this. I understand that. I agree with you on that, Eggs. As a matter of fact, I got all the equipment to make a still. You want to know why? Uh, I don't have to drink the alcohol, but by God, that alcohol, that grain alcohol, or that refined alcohol. Guess what it does? It gets rid of infections. If you get a bad infection, you pour some alcohol in that and see how quick it goes away. Well, Brian, I could tell you some stuff to use, but you probably wouldn't believe it. Um, there's two things you can use that'll help you out, as long as you ain't on blood thinners. that is. For one, willow root. Two, sassafras root. Make a tea out of it. It's going to taste like shit, but it'll help your heart. I promise you. And it's all natural and not chemical. Try that. Try it for a week. See if it don't help you out. You might be surprised. And as far as your breathing goes, which I know sometimes it gets hard to breathe when you're having problems with your heart, take and steam rosemary, put a towel over your head and breathe it in. You're right, Stephen Tunis. Honey will kill bacteria in a heartbeat. You are so right. Also, honey is also great for cleaning out your body. That's why I always complain about. I always complain about our honeybees. You know, honeybees are a freaking awesome commodity for us. You're right. The reason on the no scarring part, Stephen Tunis, it's high in vitamin E. All honey's high in vitamin E. They don't want you to know that, but it is. They don't even put it on their list for vitamins and minerals in honey. But vitamin E will help not scar you. And vitamin E and honey is full of vitamin E, which is and it's also full of antioxidants that help clean your body. It helps keep your body healthy. Um, uh, there's so much to learn out there, you guys, and why you got the internet also. Yes, it is eggs. Um, but but why you got the internet? Start looking up stuff. Start looking up for the alternatives out in the wild. Uh, because every medicine known to man, including chemotherapy, has come from the wild, has come from nature. You can find everything out there in nature because that's where it all originated from, is nature. So, take the time and learn what the medicines are out there in nature. It will blow your mind. There's a virtual drugstore out in nature that people have forgotten about. Um, I knew a lady that could cure a cold in a matter of days with stuff out of nature. Where today a cold for most people will last a week, 2 weeks. You know, that's just a normal cold. That ain't talking pneumonia and stuff like that. Um, she could cure a cold in a matter of days. I'm talking 2 or 3 days, and you were fine with the stuff that she knew in nature. So everything has a cure. God made sure that, or whatever you want to believe in, a greater power, whatever. Everything has a cure out there, no matter what it is. Now, knowing the people that had the knowledge to enact that cure, that's a different story. So some things I don't know how to make it work properly. I am not a surgeon or anything else like that. You see what I'm saying? But I do know medicines that will help before the surgery that would be needed. And don't think they didn't have surgeons. They proved back in the Egyptian times they had surgeons. That was thousands and thousands a year ago. Well, I don't know about that, Stephen Tunis, but I do know rosemary, goldenrod, and golden seal all together, mixed together. Those three things mixed together, and you drink it as a tea. That's what she used, and in a matter of days, it'll be gone. I'll tell you now, most cures in nature will taste like shit, though. uh, I mean, yes, I did say goldenrod. That is the type. That is a type of plant, not just your pecker. uh, um, so, needless to say, take the time to learn this stuff while you got a chance on the internet. Take 20 minutes to try to learn a thing while you got the internet. Don't just rely on people that may or may not know it. Because I have proven a lot of herbalists, people that quote unquote say, I'm an herbalist. Yes, Brian King, that's where lye soap comes from. Lye is made out of ash from fires, and also animal brain, which is lanolin. That's where lye soap came from. Animal brain and ash. So you are very correct. Uh, it is a great cleanser on the outside of your body. But I wouldn't want to use it to try to cleanse a wound. Okay, Tunis. I don't quite understand what you were saying with that last statement, but it looks funny. But please take the time to learn. If you don't, and you just sit there and complain, and don't, you know the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I'm trying to lead you to the water. Now you got to drink. The easiest way right now to research this stuff is to get on the internet and get books and learn this stuff. It's real easy, and there is a curative for everything. I don't know about that, Tunis, because I know when I wash with soap, I watch the dirt go away, and when the water hits me, the dirt don't go away. So that's all I know. But yeah, take the time to learn this stuff, guys. If you don't, you ain't gonna make it. Uh, you got right now the ability to look up stuff on the internet and learn stuff. Do it. That's what I suggest. Google it. That's what my uncle used to say. Google it. He said it was a great invention. Google. He says use it while you can. He said there may be a day you'll never get to use it, and then you're going to regret it. The internet's full of information. And and you'd be surprised what you learn. But here's the thing. Like I said, you got a lot of these people out there that are quote unquote herbalists. They don't know shit because they only learned halfway about the thing that they learned. Okay, when you start asking a person, okay, what's the side effect of St. John's wort? Okay, St. John's wort is a great cleanser. But do you know what the side effects are to St. John's wort? A lot of people don't know or didn't know when they used to have St. John wort's tea party. Do y'all know what the one of the major side effect is to St. John's wort, which is a great body cleanser? It takes the impurities out of your body. I can tell you what the major side effects to St. John's wort is. But a lot of people don't know. Do y'all know? Any answers? No, it's not erectile dysfunction, but I can fix your erectile dysfunction, Dennis. Well, eggs, you're gonna have to if the shit hits the fan, bro. The herbs and the roots and stuff are what's gonna be your medicines if shit hits the fan. I already have. Damn, Dennis. No, no, the one of the major side effects of St. John's wort is it's a photosensitive herb, which that means when it's inside your body, it makes the chemicals in your body do different things with the sun. And one of the things it'll do is it will blotch your skin. It'll make you look like you have a birthmark on your skin that will never go away. So you'll scar yourself for life if you go out in the sun after drinking a bunch of St. John's wort tea. So that's one of the major things. But most of these herbalists will tell you, yes, use this, use this, use this. But when you say, what's the side effect? I don't know if it has a side effect, is what these herbalists will tell you. Always ask the side effect. And then you know they ain't a true herbalist if they cannot tell you the side effects of the herbs that they're telling you. Hey, that's funny. But if you listen to an herbalist that can't tell you the side effects, they ain't an herbalist. Uh, and I'll never claim to be an herbalist myself. The simple fact, I know a lot of stuff out there, but I'm still learning the side effects to it. Uh, um, you can't learn something halfway and say you know something, because halfway can get people killed if you don't know what the side effects are. That's why I said, Brian King, a good help for you for your heart would be willow root and sassafras root. But here's the deal: willow root is a blood thinner. It will thin your blood more. That's why I asked. That's why I said, if you're on blood thinners, you couldn't do that because the blood thinner is the willow root. The willow root will thin your blood more than any blood thinner that they got out there, by the way, if you're drinking it directly out of a tea from the root of the willow tree. But then here's another thing you need to learn. You need to learn what the willow root. Yes, you're right, egg. Uh, um, there you go, Brian King. Believe it or not, they have proven that the Egyptians knew about how to do heart surgery and brain surgery long before any of us ever thought about doing it. Here, So heart surgery and brain surgery is not modern medicine. It's a medicine that started thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago in the Egyptian time. Modern medicine is just an improved version of that. So, again, I say learn what you can learn. Y'all be surprised what you can learn. Our people, the ancestors of the Muskogee Creek, which are the Aztec and Incas, by the way, they have proved they had heart surgery and they had brain surgery thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. So what they call modern medicine is not modern medicine. It's just they've either figured out how to do it or they improved on the abilities from way back then to now. That's all it is. So when people say, oh, modern medicine's what saved my kid, well, if you look it up and find out about that modern medicine, guess what? That modern medicine's been around for thousands of years. People knew about it back then. Now, I ain't going to say I would be the one to do a triple bypass on you because my hands ain't steady enough to hold anything to cut with, to do a surgery, things like that. A very intricate surgery like that. Let's put it that way. I couldn't do something like that. I could pull a bullet out of you. I could pull an arrow out of you. I cut it out. But I couldn't do the surgery needed to repair something. That's the biggest thing. That's what modern, like I said, they improved on it. They made it a concentrate. Okay, that way they can mass market it. But I can tell you now, you could let's say you need an 800 milligram ibuprofen. Drink a half a pot of regular teapot, regular half a tea of willow root boiled in water that's been mashed. You got to mash it first and then boil that in the water. And guess what? You got the equivalency of 800 milligrams of ibuprofen and pain reliever. So there you go. Like I said, though, it tastes like shit. And you got to drink a lot of it. But you can still make the equivalency of it. So there you go. That's something I learned from a pharmacist, by the way. Someone who was a true herbalist and a true pharmacist. And because he knew the side effects of the herbs, he knew the side effects of the pills. He knew a lot when it come to that stuff. And he would always try to get people off of pills and onto an herbal supplement to try to fix their problems because it was much better on your body than the chemicals. And he knew back then, before they were claiming that a lot of this stuff was addictive, he knew back then that it was addictive, and he didn't want to see people get addicted on pills. So he always tried to give you the herbal, I call it herbal. It ain't always herbal. I forget the name of the word, but there's another word for it. Not a botanist either, but he was actually very heavy into botany. But there's a certain word for someone that actually knows a lot about herbs and plants and roots. And I forget. Brian, there's always a way. That's what I keep saying. Look it up. Get on the internet and look it up. There's always a way, because what they are saying is in a pill that you think you can't get off of. The original form of it came from nature. It all came from nature, all of it, including chemotherapy. Do you know what chemotherapy is made out of? I'll tell you what chemotherapy is made out of, and they got farms for it. It's called a red oak tree. It makes tannic acid. Tannic acid is what chemotherapy is. Now, I just called it the layman's term. They got a scientific term and a word about 5 miles long for chemotherapy. Okay? And what it's made out of. But the truth is, the simple truth and fact is, it comes from red oak bark. And that's where chemotherapy comes from. And guess who knew that tens of thousands of years ago? The Native Americans. You can always break down that venom and not get bit, Brian. And plus, did you know? Here's something a lot of people don't know. As long as you don't have a hole in your mouth, and I'm talking an open wound in your mouth, you can drink rattlesnake venom and it not hurt you. You can drink it and your stomach will just process it. It will not allow it to hurt you. Yes. So there you go. You wouldn't have to get bit. You would just have to extract the venom and drink it. I guarantee you that's going to taste like shit, though. And the reason I know this, my uncle used to drink a cup of rattlesnake venom every month. He drank a cup about this tall, about that big around. Maybe not a cup, an actual cup, but it was about this tall and about this big around, guys. And he drank that once a month, and he never ever got sick. But what if the pill ain't there for you to have, Brian? Let's say the EMP is gone. It did go off, like they were talking about in 9/11 string. What if the EMP went off and everything to make that stuff is gone? Well, there you go. It's good to know which venoms you need so you can break it down and use it. Yes, the neurotoxin will kill you. But it won't kill you if you drink it. It has to be injected into your bloodstream for it to kill you. Your stomach will break it down and process it for you to where it won't hurt you. It won't even make you sick. Um, and that's what a lot of people don't know. Um, I knew a guy who used to freak people out all the time because he drank water moccasin venom. Uh, um, and it never hurt him. Never hurt him once. Your stomach acids don't allow it to get into your bloodstream in that form to where it can hurt you. It breaks it down and turns it into a protein, and it actually, in a way, sort of acts sort of like an anti venom that way, uh, sort of, kind of, and will help build your immunity. Uh, Taping, that you can get from a tree down here in Florida. There's a tree here in Florida that makes that. It's not a very common tree. It's only found on the coast, and it's actually an endangered tree. And it's actually a very acidic tree on top of it. So you'd have to break it down to get the tapping out, but you can get tapping for bed. Uh, I'm sure there's other trees around that do that. So you don't just have to have the viper's venom. You just need to know which plant, too. Did you know the stinging nettle has the same exact injection, same exact way to inject its poison as a fire ant does? So there's a pain called taping, or close to it. Maybe I'm thinking it might be spelled. I thought you were talking about a pain medicine, Brian King. Sorry. There's a pain medicine that is very either spelt that way or is close to being spelt that way. And I thought that's what you were talking about was the pain medicine. I apologize, bro. And that's in a tree. But I could tell you now, anything you can get from an animal, 9 times out of 10, you can get it from a plant. You just need to figure out what plant has it. And it don't always have to be the most poisonous snake in the world, because there's 2 types of venom in the world, a neurotoxin and a hemotoxin. Period, end of statement. You break down the venom, you can concentrate into any concentrated dose you want. So that's all you got to do is concentrate that shit, and you'll be all right. And you can do that with heat. Okay, the taipan snake, I understand that. Yeah, but there's a pain medicine that is spelled. It's either spelt similar to that, or very close to the same spelling, or it is spelled like that. I don't know which. And that's what I thought he was talking about was the pain medicine. I apologize again. I was in my wrong. See, unfortunately, also when only one person's talking, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get your point across. I'm glad y'all broke that down for me. Thank you. And I apologize. I made a mistake on either reading it or and misconstruing it. Why, Brian? Why? I just gave you the ways you don't have to die. Go out, get a freaking go out and get a rattlesnake or a water moccasin and concentrate its poison. I mean, and you can keep them alive. You don't have to kill the snake. You can keep them alive and milk them once a week. So I mean, so why are you dying? Just because you ain't got a pill? Make sure you got enough pills to last you a few months so you can make that happen. And then you're good. That's what you do. Build up your pill collection to try to save up about 2 months worth, so you know you'll at least be able to do 2 months worth, and then go collect snakes, and then you can do that. I mean, I understand it ain't a very savory way to want to try to live, but it's doable. It's very doable. And don't say, oh well, in the winter. They got Brian King. There is only 2 types of venom in the world. There's a hemotoxin and a neurotoxin. Find out which one it is. We got hemotoxins, which are rattlesnakes, and we got neurotoxins, which is a water moccasin. Moccasins and copperheads have neurotoxin. You got every rattlesnake is a hemotoxin. There's only 2 types of venom in the world, and that's it. Right there. It's just the concentrations in the snake. Okay? Well, one has a more concentrated poison than the other. You can concentrate that poison by heating it up and in a pan and making it into a concentrate. I just told you how to do it. You can do it. You can make it just as concentrated as what they make in that pill. It'll just be in the liquid form. Guess what? All medicines start out in a liquid form. All medicines, and you can look that up and take that to the bank. After they come out into an extract, they are whatever they took it from. It is a liquid form. All medicines. Now, like I said, that pill it tastes better. It tastes a hell of a lot better than if you were to take the liquid form of it. The taipan, I just looked that up, Brian, by the way, and the taipan has a neurotoxin venom. It has a neurotoxic venom. I looked it up, by the way, because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about before I started talking about it. It has a neurotoxic venom that attacks your attacks your heart, and your nerves in your back, primarily, but it does damage all nerves. So there you go. We're back to square one, Brian. All it has is a more concentrated neurotoxic venom. You don't need them. That's what I'm saying. A neurotoxic venom is all you need. Is a neurotoxic venom. And you'll be fine. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all think this modern bullshit is the final step. No, it's not. Learn ways to make it work. And I'm telling you how to make it work, and you still don't want to believe me. I don't need to be a scientist to know that, Brian. You don't need to be a chemist to know that, Brian. You need to take the time to learn it. That's all you need. And I just took the time to learn what venom we were talking about, which is a neurotoxic venom. And that's what that particular snake has. It has a very highly concentrated venom. So therefore, and you want to know why they use that over any other snake? It's because they can make more pills out of it. With the same amount of venom that you would get out of a water moccasin or a copperhead or a coral snake, which are all 3 have neurotoxic venoms. With the same amount in liquid form, they can make more pills out of that particular snake's venom than they can out of a water moccasin's venom or anything else. And that's the only reason they use that venom. It's called the money game. So there you go. You could still get the same effects and the same stuff out of the water moccasin, the copperhead, and the coral snake, which all have neurotoxic venoms. They're the same exact venom. Same exact type of venom. It's just more concentrated. That's what I'm saying. Take the time to learn this stuff. And if you have to if you got a medicine that's made out of a hemotoxin, you can still concentrate it with rattlesnake venom. You can rattlesnakes. Every rattlesnake has a hemotoxin venom. And what else? There's one other here in the United States that has a hemotoxin venom. Can't think of it right now. I can't think of the other one that has a hemotoxic venom, but it does have a hemotoxic venom. And you can just boil it down and make a concentrate out of it. Well, pharmaceuticals are going to do what's going to be the quickest and easiest and most time efficient and most money making way than what unfortunately we can. But guess what? Here's the thing. If the EMP goes off tomorrow and you can't have your pills, you'll have all the time in the world. That's why I said get 2 months worth of pills stored up, so you can go get these snakes that you need. You say you live up north; they go into hibernation. They don't produce the venom as quick. That's true. Go find a cave, put them in a cave. Guess what? They'll still produce the venom. Produce the venom in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, because that cave stays a certain temperature year round, which won't put them into hibernation. I'm very lucky down here in Florida. Most of the time we don't have enough cold to really super hibernate a snake to where it won't produce its venom down here. I'm in a very lucky climate. That's why I like this. That's why I moved back to Florida, by the way. Growing seasons are better than everything else. But all you got to do is learn that you can boil stuff down and you can make a concentrate out of it. That's all you got to do. Now, pharmacies are in it to make money. So, of course, they're going to use a more venomous snake than what we have here in the United States, if they can, so they can make more pills out of less time and effort and pay less money. That's the only reason they use particular snakes for this stuff. Learn what their venom is, and then you'll find out, hey, we got the same thing right here in the United States. And yet, you could say I was wrong on one particular thing. There's a couple of snakes out there across the world that actually have a neurotoxin and a hemotoxin venom mixed together. There's a couple of them. One's a viper of some kind. I forget what it's called, but there's a viper out there that has them both. Well, okay, if they're making a pill out of that, and if they're making a pill out of that, then what you do is you take and you get a rattlesnake and a water moccasin, and you mix the venoms together and then boil it down to make a concentrate. Every hemotoxin venom is the same exact thing, and you can look this up scientific fact. Every hemotoxin venom in a snake has the same exact compounds in it. It's just one has more and one has less, but they still have the same compounds. The same with a neurotoxin. It has the same exact compounds, just one has more and one has less. They're the same exact venom. And that's why they quit making so many anti-venoms now. They used to have an anti-venom for almost every poisonous snake in the world except for one that would kill you almost instantly. They have realized this and started breaking down the anti-venoms. Here in the United States, if you are in a zoo and you're bitten by a king cobra, they will not use a king cobra antivenom on you. They will use the same antivenom that they use for cottonmouths on you here in the United States. If you're a zookeeper and get bit by a king cobra, and it does the same exact thing. It's just a more highly concentrated venom that they had to use. That's all. And that's why they've quit making so many anti-venoms now. So many of them throughout the world. is that very reason. They're finding out the same exact compounds exist in different in the snake's venom, and now they're using one snake for the anti venom. Okay, instead of having huge farms that they have to pay specialist people to and pay big money for all this. I have a friend that's what he did was he had snake farms for anti venoms. Okay, and they now got him down to just two or three of each species now, uh, and that's it. Or of each one, excuse me, not species, of each snake that produces the antivenom. The reason is they have found out that it's the same compounds in each venom. And that's scientifically proven fact, and that's why he now, instead of having at one time, I think he had 500 different types of species of snake. He now has like about 2 or 3 species of each snake that makes each poison. That you can look up, and that's proven fact, and that's proven scientific fact, and that's why he now don't have as many different types of species. Is that right there? And that's how I also know they also use the more high concentrated venoms in the different snake species. Also, by the way, the is because that's what they make him. That's what they make him cultivate on his farm. Is some of the highest concentrated venoms in the world. I know I know he's got 2 vipers, and he's got another one that comes another type of rattlesnake that it's in the rattlesnake family, but it don't really have a rattle. But it's in the rattlesnake family that comes from Australia. Uh, that particular snake, that particular type of rattlesnake that's in the rattlesnake family, but it don't have no rattles, is one of the most highly venomous hemotoxin snakes out there, and he's got them, and that's all he raises. That and a few others. He does keep some very huge North American rattlesnakes because they produce a lot more venom, and he can get the venoms and stuff. So the, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just trying to give you the proper facts about this stuff that they don't want you to learn. How are they going to keep you on that pill, Brian, if you learn how to fix yourself without them? You see? you, no, eggs. That's when other people should be helping you if your glasses break. And actually, you can melt down. You can still make a hot enough fire to make makeshift glasses. They've had them back in the day, uh, but they were not near as good as what we got today. That's for truth. Uh, uh, but that's why I keep saying learn how to do this stuff. You've been studying fish all your life too, and I can argue with you with fish all your life too, Brian King, because I know what you're learning from the government is bull fucking shit. You need to learn that, Brian. Quit trying to take the government's word as gospel. The government's word is not gospel. That's something we preach every day here on these channels. Even in medicine, the government's word is not gospel. Why would they tell you Why would they tell you, all right, Tex Rose, hon, you try to have a good nap. Why would the government tell you that you can boil down snake venom and make the same medicines that they're selling to you for $50 a pill, okay, and lose their money? You got to think about this now. The government, every one of them in the government has stock in medicine, and that's a proven fact. Everybody that's in the upper government has stock in pharmaceuticals in some way, shape, or form. Now, if they go out and start telling you, yeah, you can boil down the snake venom, and you could do this, and make a derivative that'll be just as good as that pill. Now they just lost that how many pills you take a week at $50 a piece, and lost that profit. And now you got hundreds of thousands of people that just started doing that, and they lost all that profit? I think not. So yes, they're going to keep you dumb, Brian. The facts are not facts when you're listening to the government, Brian. They're going to lie to you every which way they can so they can keep their money. And that's a sad fact that almost everybody does not know or cares to know. The government's going to lie to you. You ever hear the old saying, you feel like a mushroom? You should feel like a mushroom when it comes to the government, because they keep you in the dark and they feed you a lot of shit. That's the first thing you need to come to understand, Brian. The government keeps you in the dark and feeds you a lot of shit. Why do you think every 5 years, and I've watched this, every 5 years, eggs are the best thing in the world for you, and then in 5 years from now, eggs will be the worst thing in the world for you. Coffee 5 years ago was the worst damn thing in the world for everybody. And now it's the best thing in the world to keep from getting Alzheimer's. Okay? They keep you so confused on what's going on out there if you listen to them that you aren't going to know what's going on. You need to take the time to learn the facts for yourself. Don't listen to the government. The government's going to keep you confused and keep you in the dark so much, it ain't even funny. And that's where most of these things that you see from the government that's what they're for. That's why you go into the scientific community and find the facts and not theories. That's another misconception people have. When you hear a scientist say it's a theory, it's their suggestion and their thoughts. It's not fact. What you want is true fact, not a theory. A theory is no fact and no proven fact to back it. That's why it's a theory. Brian King, by a lot of your studies that you're watching, yes, you are. A lot of your studies you're reading, yes, you are. And the government paid for that theory to be said. Because I got proven fact right now that the government said, you said that you argued for 2 days over the size of a sturgeon here in this river. I said they could get up to 10 foot long, and you argued with me for 2 hours that they can't. My buddy has it on his phone, and I'm going to try to get that to transfer over to me. and you'll see the measured out 10.5 inch sturgeon I caught out of this river. That was a Gulf sturgeon. So there you go. You're listening to government theories and reading a lot on government theories, not fact. So, and as soon as I can get that picture transferred over to my phone, I'll show it to you. That it was a 10.5 inch Gulf sturgeon. And that's a fact, not a theory. Not trying to be a dick, but there's a difference between true fact and theories. And the government puts out a lot of theories. Hello, country girl. Starting to rain again. Well, then I guess I caught a new world record fish, and so has many other people out of this river, as far as length goes. Um, so, and we didn't even know it. But here's something I also found out about the record books, Brian. Did you know every 6 years they purge the record books? Now, the records that you're seeing now, every 6 years they purge them and say now they got new records, and a lot of them are a lot smaller than what they were the record that was 6 years prior to that. That's what they're doing now, because there's so many records of they would be they want everybody to think that they're trying to show that the fish well, that's great that you're seeing that, but a lot of the stuff you're seeing now, they're trying to prove the fishing is falling off, and that's how they're doing it, by doing 6 years records, and then showing that the fish are smaller than what and all that, and that's what they're doing now. So they're trying to get it to where we can't fish right now. And they've almost done it here in Florida, I might add. They're on the verge of it. If it weren't for me and several other people fighting against NOAA, of all people, the National Weather Service makes our fishing regulations. And they that the federal fishing regulations that we go by, and they also suggest to the state what regulations they should put on fish. If we haven't been fighting against them, most fishing would be illegal in the state of Florida as of today. They tried a big push 5 years ago to get most fishing banned in Florida, or making Florida a straight up catch and release state. So I know what they're doing on that because of the fight I've been having with them. And we have proven them wrong many times over, by the way. And they say that the thing is, Brian, your facts ain't right. You're listening to government theory. Government theory. That is the biggest problem you're having. according to High-Nuck-and-Futz, according to government theory, when the Gulf sturgeons in this river, they don't bite either. In this river, and I've caught them many times on rod and reels, and so have many other people. So that's another government theory. Well, that's what you're reading is the government printouts, Brian. Government printouts. That's government theory. Who keeps the records, Brian? The government. The government keeps the records, Brian. NOAA, to be exact, on fishing records. Now, if you want to get true fact, start going to these tournaments on these fish and get their records, which they don't want you to see. And then you'll see true fact. Not what the government printed out by NOAA, the National Weather Service. What the fuck's the National Weather Service got to do with anything to do with fishing? Ask yourself that. But they try to make all the federal rules and regulations on fishing. And they give suggestions to the states on what they should be allowing to be caught and what ain't. So the National Weather Service does that. So ask yourself, what does weathermen got to do with fishing? Other than they could tell you it's a good day to go fishing or not, because it's raining or not. Ask yourself that one. Why ain't they got biologists in charge of that? Not weathermen. So there's you something to think about and some fruit to chew on. And don't tell me it ain't NOAA that does it, because I've been fighting that fight with them for 5 years now. I know exactly who does it. And it is the National Weather Service that makes our federal fishing regulations. And it is the National Weather Service that makes suggestions to your state and guidelines to your state on how you should regulate the fishing. They should regulate their fishing in a state. And I found that out originally with working with the Game and Fish, and with working with the Game and Fish, and them getting regular updates on what NOAA suggested for fishing. So yet again, I'm going to ask you, Brian, the people that keep the records is the National Weather Service. That is a government entity. Is it not? Yes, the National Weather Service is a government entity. If you look it up, it is. They get government funding every day to keep going. And you caught the smallest fish out of a pond with a bucket. Now that's funny, country girl. So what does the National Weather Service have to do with fishing? I caught a small Brian King, that's bullshit, and I'll call you on it. That is straight up bullshit. All world record fishing, all world records of fishing go through NOAA, and you better look that one up. And don't tell me that, because like I said, I've been fighting that fight with them for years. Don't tell me that. Yes, it does. It goes straight through NOAA. And if NOAA don't agree with it, it don't get printed. Period. End of statement. That's a fight I've been fighting for 5 years with them on. You better look that one up. I know for a fact That is straight up fact. And if NOAA don't agree with it, it ain't going to be printed. Period. End of statement. That's why there's so many discrepancies in what a world record was. And right now, NOAA's trying to prove that our fishing industry has fallen off so they can ban all fishing in the United States. I bet you it did. Have you ever fried a minnow? Country girl? You ever fried a minnow? I've fried minnows before. They're actually good eating when they're fried all the way through. And it don't take long to fry them. But it takes a lot to fill you up. You better look it up. Go to NOAA's site and put in NOAA's fishing rules and regulations and law and records. You'll find it, and it's there. You're going to work on a Christmas tree in July? I guess Christmas in July gives you cool thoughts. Nothing. Christmas in July gives you cool thoughts. NOAA Oceanic Observatories is what has the major world records. NOAA's Oceanic Observatory and freshwater is what it's actually, the whole name. But you can look it up under NOAA's National Oceanic Observatory. Oh, I bet you, folks, if you're trimming it and keeping it nice and everything, that would be cool. Oh, you're going to decorate it for every holiday. So you're making it ain't actually a Christmas tree, it's a holiday tree. Brian, I'm going to have to sit here. I'm done arguing with you because you want to believe what the government tells you. So we're going to have to agree to disagree. That's a government. Your government is going to rule your life. And you don't want to open your mind to other possibilities. So I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you. I was once you, Brian, and then I opened my mind and I learned the truth. You should do the same. So I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you until you're willing to open your mind and find out the truth for yourself. It's all going to be branches when you're done. That's the whole effing point, Brian. It does, and you don't want to open your brain to the possibility it is. Open your brain. Quit being one-sided and thinking one-sidedly. Open your brain and find out true facts. Quit going by the government. This is what the government, this is exactly what the government wants you to think, bud. I found out true facts after I opened my brain to the possibility, it might be the government. And it ain't just the United States government either. It's the worldwide government. Also, I told you where to look it up, Brian. You go look it up. Since you want to argue with me, prove me wrong. There you go, Futz. If you can prove me wrong, Brian, I will apologize to you profusely. But I can guarantee you one thing. You won't prove me wrong. The more deeper you get into it, you're going to go, holy shit. That's what you're going to do. I don't care, Brian. I've said it 100 times. Our government has a say-so in it, and if they don't like what's being said, they ain't going to print it. Period. End of statement. Prove me wrong on that statement. Prove it wrong. Do your research. I have for 5 years. You'll shit your pants if you actually do the research into it, instead of just saying, "Oh, this is the truth. This is the God honest truth right here." You'll shit your pants what the government tells people to do and what they don't tell people to do. You'll also shit your pants on how much they fund people just so they will tell a certain thing and leave out other things. You will shit your pants. I've been dealing with this for 5 years and fighting with this for 5 years. I know who's in charge of that. And who spends the most money into the IGAF records. And any other record for that matter. We do. We spend the most money. Why? Because we got the most say-so now. You don't think the government's doing anything to affect your life. I hate to tell you, Brian, it is. It's doing a lot to affect your life. Or try to. My suggestion is take time to get away from all the bullshit like I did. Do you know what opened my eyes? I was very lucky that I had a person take me a year out into the wilderness, to live out in the wilderness for a year. And when I came back, my eyes got open to the possibilities of many things, because I learned a lot of things out there in that wilderness. The government don't teach you shit, and they don't want you to know shit. The reason is you're easier to control when you don't know shit. And they keep you in the dark like a mushroom and feed you shit like a mushroom. That's how I learned that everything has a cure in nature. If it didn't, I would have died several times over in the wild, and I wouldn't have known crap to do it if my uncle wasn't there. That year, I would have probably died about 15 times if my uncle wasn't there and knew what he knew, that the government did not teach you about medicine. Or they tried to teach you, oh, this is bad for you. And then 5 years later, oh, it's good for you. And then 5 years later, oh, it's bad for you again. And then 5 years later, it's good for you again. Brian, yes it is. Yes it is. You need to go look and see where the government spends money into that every year. Almost $1.2 billion into that a year. $1.2 billion a year of our tax money goes to just that program. I agree. You need to do a video of that tree, Futz. You really should. And NOAA has also been on record stating we need to abolish all fishing in all countries, but they would not give any reason why except for global warming is affecting our fisheries. And that's what they've gone on to record saying. That's their own records. But yet, in many places where they say the fishery's dying, the fishery's coming to life, and people are catching more and more fish than ever in those areas. So, good, Eggs. Hopefully you'll get him gone. But unfortunately, you can't do the tried and true method of keeping a coyote off your land. You can't do that without pissing people off, which sucks. The tried and true method is you kill one and then you tie it to a tree and on the edge of your property. You want a coyote, Futz? Why do you want a coyote? But then again, I was also brought up and raised by people who hated coyotes on sight. So I have a different way of thinking about coyotes. So by my raising, so maybe you have a different reason for why you'd want a coyote. Oh, you want a baby? You want a baby coyote? Still, I don't know why, but okay. But I grew up in a time where I was getting, I grew up in a time where I was getting $25 a head to kill coyotes because they were eating farmers' cattle. I told you about the brown trout. All you got to you go to Bassmaster magazine about what was it? I want to say 10 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer ago. I know Bassmaster magazine even had the article in their magazine about brown trout, and it being the world's largest one was caught in Arkansas, and it was 62.3 pounds. And Bassmaster magazine even had that in their articles. Field and Stream had it in their articles. The Arkansas State Guide for Fishing had it in their articles. There's plenty to prove that just the brown trout record is wrong. Then you didn't look good enough, Brian, because it's there. I looked it up just so I could say it. You didn't look good enough, Brian. It's there. I looked it up. So I can honestly and truly tell you places to go look. I already told you. Go look. Bassmaster had it in their magazine. Field and Stream had it in their magazine. The Arkansas Travel Guide had it in their magazine. Hell, even AARP had it in one of their editions for a month as a destination to go fishing to because of the world record trout being caught there. Go to Bassmaster Magazine and look through their archives. That's what I had to do. I had to look through their archives. That's why I can't remember what month it was and what year it was right off the bat. But it was a 62.3 pound brown trout. And I know that record's a lie when you say it's 40 some pounds. And I looked that up, by the way. And that also fits with me saying that every 6 years they change the records, by the way. If you look at all the records, most of the records that I've been looking at, they're all modern day records. And they're all smaller than a lot of the old records. Get your ass here in Florida. I'll take you camping, Futz. Just get your ass over here. I'll take you camping all you want to camp. I can take you to the swamps. I can take you to campgrounds. I can take you to I can take you all different places to go camping, hon. Just get your ass here in Florida and I can take you out. And we'll have a ball. Either that or I could try to get over there to you in Texas and then we could go out somewhere. One of the two. I would have to definitely do a live stream all the way there to make sure I don't get arrested for pedaling ass if I take my bike to Texas. Oh, she did not go to jail. Really? That's fucking awesome. That's a good start there. You're right. That's a very good start. I did not know she did it. Like I said, get your butt here in Florida. I'll get you camping. That's what I did. Or you can look it up in the or you can look it up in on Arkansas, the Arkansas Guide to Fishing thing that they used to have, that they have still, but they back then they did it when it first got out. I would love to have you, Futz. I'd love to have you. Oh, and PA. Sorry, Futz. I'd still that's still a long haul on a bike to go. Kodiak, you are awesome, bro. Too bad you got to go and you didn't say much. But my biggest thing is this stream wasn't to become a debate on fishing records and things like that. My biggest thing is all right, Kodiak. The biggest thing is I want you all to learn. Take the time while you got the chance to learn how you can survive. There's all if there the old saying, if there's a will, there's a way. Remember that. If there's a will, there's a way. And always live by that. They were all heading home to get sleep. They were exhausted. Okay. Well, I'm glad. Hi, Bandit, by the way. I'm glad that she had a great thing happen to her, that she didn't have to go to jail. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, Kodiak, hurry back. Y'all more. I just want everybody to find a way they could survive out in the wilderness. Um, uh, even people that have disabilities, uh, like being in a wheelchair, can survive out in the wilderness. Don't sell yourself short because like people in a wheelchair, they have knowledge that I would give. See, there are people I know that are actually handicapped, physically handicapped, that have knowledge that I would love to have with me out in the woods for simple fact. Right, Bandit? That's why I'm talking about this, bro. I didn't want to bring that up, but I just wanted to. That's why I'm bringing this up. I know physically handicapped people that have knowledge in their brains that I would gladly take out in the woods with me because they know different things that I don't know. And I would make sure they survive. See, it ain't just you learning, hey Odin, how are you, bro? It ain't just you learning stuff because you never learn everything. Okay? Someone like Bandit though might know something I don't know on how to survive in the swamps. Okay? Or I may have forgotten something to survive in the swamps that Bandit remember. So, Futz, there's no dumb question, hon. No dumb question. So ask it. Ask it. I think I know why Brian likes to argue with me. I really do. He likes to see me get all passionate about shit and all bent out of shape about shit just so he could get a good laugh at my ass. um, I'm sure there's a market out there, Futz. Um, Honestly, what I would do is like what my sister did. My sister would put her paintings on eBay and make money off of her stuff that way. Oh, bull crap, bandit. you, I'm sure you know shit out there in them swamps that I don't. But I would go about trying to keep your ass alive anyway because you're a good friend anyway. I'd go about trying to keep Brian's ass alive as long as he'd listen to me and do what take the stuff I tell him that'll keep his ass alive. Right, I know, Brian. I was messing with you on that. I was trying to make a joke. I love our debates, Brian. Believe it or not, I do. You'll save yourself, Odin. But Brian, I do love our debates, bro. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem with our debates. I love our debates. Believe it or not, Brian. Uh, And that's why I still call you bro. If I didn't love our debates, I wouldn't call you bro. I'd call you an asshole and tell you not to talk to me no more. But I love you to death, Brian. And one of the things I love about you is we go back and forth and we banter like that. So don't think I'm mad at you or anything. I love you to death, Brian. You're awesome, and I love our banters. I really do. It reminds me of being in debate class, but now I need to start doing true debates and start having paperwork along with my debates. Yes, we'd have to, if the shit hit the fan, Futz, we would have to make sure you're okay. Is there a broken record emoji, David? I don't know. I don't know, Jalen. Is there? You're the one that uses the emojis. I don't use them very. I don't use them. I would do the naked and afraid bandit. But I tell you what, me and my uncle actually tried out for Survivor. You remember the Survivor thing? They told. Do you know what they told us? Believe it or not, they said we were too knowledgeable on surviving that they didn't want us. Believe it or not, me and my uncle were too knowledgeable on being able to survive, and they did not want us. That's some screwed up shit, ain't it? Yeah, they sure did tell us that, Bandit. So I've never gone out for any of those other things like naked and afraid and all that. Knocking, you've been saying one more cig for the last hour and a half, girl. Welcome back, country girl. Well, honestly, Brian, I ain't gonna do it. Here's my thing. If I don't know it, I'll tell you I don't know it. I've said I don't know many times over in my stream. Uh, um, that's just the way I am. I have no problem saying, "Hey, I don't know that." Um, so even with Ohio Guardian 2.0, I knew Ohio wasn't a true ID state, but he gave me an insight I didn't know about, and I told him I did not know until he told me that. Ohio has the right to ID you if they are called out on you. Uh, so I didn't know that. So they ain't a true stop and ID state where they can stop and say, "Hey, I want to see your ID" for no reason. But if they get a call on you, they can look at your ID. I didn't know that, and I told him I didn't know that. I'm glad he told me that, and that explained why that explains certain things to me, and how the misconstruing of was of BLW TV uh, um, wound up being forced to show his ID and things, even though it wasn't a call. That's where he had the right to say no. It wasn't a call um, to action. Um, the one that actually had the right to ID him because he was called to action was the county deputy who did not want to take the action. You see, that's what's funny because he was the one that was called to action by the sheriff's department. Might add, or not sheriff's department, but by the town chief. So so I don't have a problem stating I did not know that. You know, hell, I've even told you I did not know that, Brian King, on certain law things that you brought up, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. You know, well, Futz, we're real. That's what makes us fun. We're real people, um, and we're very passionate about what we're real about. Futz, you're awesome. And you're right. Y'all don't have the foggiest idea how much you helped me, because I cannot put it into words how much every one of you have helped me in your own little way. And I mean, just by being there for me, making me laugh, giving me these little debate times with Brian. Uh, this shit all is helpful for me. You know, it's great. It really is. It helps me out beyond measure. It makes me. And there's Joe Black. There's the biggest one of the biggest jokers that come in here. Joe Black, Tunis, and Joshua Haynes. Joe Black, Tunis, Joshua Haynes, and Wobbly. They can have me laughing in a matter of seconds. Just like Joe Black there, he's got me chuckling. Timmy Lin 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 Lin. You know, see, stuff like that. You all have been such a big help for me. You all have also given me a little more self esteem about myself. Um, I Bandit, you're more than welcome to let me know how you feel. Uh, um, Now, if Brian was to talk about how much money was spent on the presidential vehicle last year, I can tell you now I don't know. If he was to tell me how much, if Brian was to say, "Hey, uh, pick my nose," here you go. I'm picking my nose. I'm trying to get some gold right now, Odin. Everybody's gonna go, ew, gross. I'm waiting on it. See, told you. I told you it was coming. I knew it was coming. But I did it just for you, Odin. Just for you, bro. Fudge, you do a lot. You do a lot of teaching in your own right. Most of it is I can tell you now. I ain't gonna talk. Most of the time, I will not talk about something I don't know nothing about. Um, uh, no, no, Fudge. Do you know where you're teaching me? You want to know how you're teaching me? You teach me how to improve myself on proper etiquette of speaking, because you are very proper when you type out your stuff. And so no, you are not dumber than a box of dumber than two flat rocks. You are very smart. Um, and here's another thing that makes you not dumb. You ask questions. Okay, Brian King. Well, that is a lie, Duncan, because do you know what a dumb person is? A dumb person is a person that don't ask questions. So, thank you, Genty, thank you. Now I got proof that I'm an ugly person, even though you say I'm not. I got proof. I've won two ugly men contests. Now I got proof to that. So, uh, uh, You could look up Lost Valley Lake Resort and see who won the first Ugly Man contest there. That was me. Uh, you can also look up the Eastern Division of Ugly Man contests, and I won that out of 2,000 people by playing with my belly button. So there's your true proof on me being ugly. So, well, I got the proof to prove I'm ugly, Jen. At least look wise. Maybe my heart ain't ugly. I try not to be ugly in my heart and ugly in my soul. I try not to be. Uh, but all I had to do was play with it. All I had to do was play with my belly button, and I won out of 2,000 people at an ugly man contest. Well, thank you, country girl. Thank you, Jen. That would be cool, Age. If you could get two different streams going. My phone don't have that ability, unfortunately. I wished it did. See, that's what I'm talking about, though. Y'all really help my. I would never think any different from you, unless you like molested a kid, and then I might think different of you. I mean, just don't tell me you molested kids, and I'll be happy with you. That's great, Brian. Uh, uh, I'm glad to hear that because you're stupid phone reconnected for some reason. See, that's something I know nothing at all about, Brian, is doing videos. So if you start asking me questions about videos and telling me stuff about videos, I'm going to say, okay, Brian, I'm all yours. I'm all yours. I'm all watching you on that. I will tell you I know nothing about Brian. Well, so there you go, Brian. You got so much knowledge about a tenth of what you do on your computer. And what impressed me is you were doing that shit on your phone to begin with. That's like mind blowing. Making videos on your phone, that's mind blowing. I can't figure out how to do it, and I downloaded the damn program you told me to do. I'm trying to still figure that shit out. Uh, Uh, so, um, Brian, you got me there. There's something you got me on big time. If I can acquire a tenth of your knowledge on that, I'd be happy. and, and I would love to come up there just to sit down with you. Well, what are you admitting to, Futz? I didn't see it. Okay, NFI, how to make a video? Is that and that's a website or something I can look up, Brian? Or is that? Oh, you had no fucking. There you go. I. There you go. Duh. Well, Fudge, you've been helping us too, hon. I'm telling you, you really have. You're a great person, great individual. You got a great personality, and we love you for it. So, you're helping us a lot too. Good. I'm glad, Fudge. I'm glad on that. So, As long as you don't do that, I'm a happy person. We can even have debates like me and Brian, and I'll be happy with you. I love debating with Brian. So I do not think no less. I need to figure it out. I've been man, that's funny. Hey, Eastern Kentucky, how are you, bro? Glad to see you. Even if you noticed, even all my posted videos are normally my live stream, and nobody thinks less of you, Futz. Nobody. You're still the awesome person we knew before you said it. That's funny, Tay. You still use your phone. Um, I have yet to figure out how to even start a video other than like my live streams, or if I just go to and start videoing something. But to actually make a video out of someone else's video, I can't figure out how to do that shit. I'm as dumb as a box of rocks for that. I could either go to you, Tay, or go to Brian, one of the two. I don't care which, and figure out how to do that. Because I ain't never figured it out, and I'm very dumb when it comes to that. Brian, so far I'm even having troubles trying to figure out how to do it on a timeline. Hey, country gal, welcome back. And Futz, we love you to death. You're still the awesome person we knew before you even said what you said. Okay? You're an awesome person and we love you. You're stuck with us, girl. You're just stuck with us. I agree, Joe. Joe Black. So you survived. Yay, country girl. Country girl survived. A country girl can survive. She's got a shotgun rifle and a four-wheel drive, and a country girl can survive. Well, Brian, that's the sign of a great artist. A great artist is never happy with their art. And I'm sorry, you're an artist when it comes to making those videos, Brian. You're an artist. And that's the sign of a great artist. Knuckin' Butts, you know, I have been in such depressed states. I was 21 years old. I got in such a depressed state, I actually pulled the trigger on my head. Thank God the bullet didn't go off. Actually, 6 times the bullet didn't go off. And I shot the bullets. I shot the same 6 bullets into the ground the next day. And I had those bullet casings for like 8 years just to remind me of that. That's something you're going to have to ask Brian King or Tay about. Go ask Brian King and Tay about that. I'm not sure. I've never done it, so I don't know. There you go, Brian. See, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about there, Brian. What is it? I have no idea what an After Effects editor is. So you got me stumped on that shit. I have no idea. Here comes the rain. Either that or just the wind's picking up. I know it's thundering and lightning and it's cooling off and it's clouding up. So hopefully we'll get some rain again and it'll cool it down. But yeah, I had those bullet casings for 8 years to remind me to never get that depressed again, and never let myself get to that depressed. All right, Brian, I'll start trying to do that. All right. All right, Brian. You're trying to say too much for me at one time. What the hell is a transition? I ain't even sure what a transition is. So what's that? All right, Eggs. Hurry back, bro. Oh shit! I'm running out of battery. Fuck. All right, Brian King. I'll try to do that. I'll try to keep that in mind. But I need to figure out how to even make the basic timeline. I ain't even good at that. He better hurry back because I'm running out of battery juice, guys. I'm down to 16% on this battery. So I love y'all too, folks. I really do. Oh, okay, Joe Black. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know what the hell that was. So, thank you very much for letting me know. Like I said, I'm very illiterate when it comes to electronics. My illiteracy has no bounds when it comes to electronics. And I'm sure there's probably a way to do a split screen so I could do 2 different streams at one time on this damn phone. I just ain't found it. I'm too dumb when it comes to electronics. So hopefully one day I'll find it. But I do know how to start my game, and I know how to play my game, and I know how to go live on YouTube. So I'm getting better. I didn't even know how to do a live on YouTube until my buddy showed me how to do a live on YouTube. So that dang computer of yours, Futz. You need to, if you ever get a chance, you need to go to a pawn shop and get a different one. I'll be right back. I need to go water a bush. Ah, ah, my ankle. Alrighty. I'm gonna eat some Cheerios. Do-da-do-da. Okay, I'm back, guys. Yeah, her computer likes to not show her picture sometimes. The hardest thing is making 3D animations completely from scratch. I'm sure, Brian, that sounds like that would be a process to do. Wow. Well, then, I'll probably never do 3D animations. There's a Christine laptop. I remember that movie, Christine. That car that attacked and killed people, and people got killed in it and all that. I remember that movie. Me too. I love all horror movies. I love them. Yay! She can see me again. I used to own Christine. I used to own it. I used to own Children of the Corn. Same here, Putz. I love it. I love horror movies. They are awesome. That's fine. You can put that up there, Tay. Why are you putting it up there? Tell us why you're putting it up there, hon. I don't mind. Is Big Nick needing help, Tay? Yeah, yeah, Duncan. It might. The reason your computer probably don't want to work right with me, and you can't see me, is my face is just so ugly it breaks your computer every time it sees. Okay, Tay. I agree, but um, I've only had one horror movie ever scare me to death, and I was 8 years old when it did, and that was Pet Cemetery. And you remember the cat church in Pet Cemetery? Well, if you remember right, there was a scene in there where it goes black, and all you could see is these pink eyes for a silhouette of the cat. Well, my mom had a solid black cat, and it jumped up. Okay, country gal. Uh, um, the my mom's black cat got up in my window. The same night I went and watched Pet Cemetery on the big screen at the cinema with my sister. And my mom's black cat got up in there, and all I could see was the silhouette of a cat with pink eyes. And I thought that cat came out of the movie screen to haunt my ass and take me away. And I ran and hid under my mom's bed for 2 hours. There you go, Tay. So that's the only horror movie I've ever watched that scared me. After that, after I found out it was just a movie, you know, and it wasn't really the cat coming to get me, uh, I ain't never been I ain't never been afraid of a horror movie since. So Sneakers, 1992. I need to look into that, Joe Black. I don't believe I've ever watched that. Now that's funny, Brian. It's not a horror movie? And how did it scare you, Joe Black? I you know, when I watched Jaws, Brian, I was like, I want to catch a shark like that. That would be fun. Tow a whole boat around like he did. That would be cool as fuck to catch a shark like that. Oh, I love The Exorcist, Bandit. Especially when her head twisted around and she started puking up the pea green soup. That shit was funny. I loved it. All right, Joe Black. Welcome back, country girl. But yeah, I loved The Exorcist. I thought that was one of the coolest movies ever. About the rape. Okay. Well, that's what it looked like she was puking, was pea soup. But I love that movie. Well, Tay, there is a movie that I would suggest you not watch then. It's called The Night of the Tarantula. It's about a whole bunch of tarantulas that took over this town, and it had one main tarantula. Hey, Helen Page, how are you, hon? And that one main tarantula was like the size of a two-story house. So, don't ever watch that movie. Oh, cool. I like that, Brian King. That's awesome. I hate hearing that, Helen. I hope you get to. I hope things start going better. I love Chucky. I thought Chucky was cool. I even had a Chucky doll. I had a real Chucky doll. I wish I had that some bitch now. That thing's worth a lot of money if I would have never taken it out of its box. I agree, Brian. I love eight-legged freaks and big ass spiders and spiders. That thing was good. All of them. Damn, Tay, you're lucky you got one unopened. Wow. Ask your question, country gal. Ask it, hon. That was smart, Tay, because that dang dollar's worth real Chucky dollar's worth a lot of money. So now, if it's not out of its box. Oh wow, cool, Bandit. Oh guys, I'm down to 10% on my battery. I'm eating frosted Cheerios, Tay, out of the bag. No, about coming up on us and looking in our truck without asking food. Well, you could have told him, hey, Miss Constitutional, that is an illegal search. Yes, that is not right. Um, you can make a complaint about that, country gal, because that is a illegal search. They cannot look into your truck for no reason. They have to give you a reason, and then in most states, I ain't saying all states, most states they have to get your permission to search. Oh wow, I'm glad you're okay, Helen, on that. That's what I do. I'd go file complaint on it. Uh, uh, Country gal is what I do. I'm sure, Helen, that would have freaked me out even, girl. I'm sure your nerves are shot. Yeah, I figured Wobbly be sleeping, Tay. Oh, cool, cool, cool. In some states, they are not, Joe Black. They are allowed to walk up, and they got to stand back a minimum of 4 foot from the car, that so they can see your face. Uh, um, but that's it. I know that's the way it is here in Florida. They cannot walk up legally, walk up to your car and shine a flashlight into standing right next to your car. It depends on where you're at. Like I said, here in Florida, they can't. When they walk up to the car, they have to be a minimum of like 3 or 4 foot away from the car. Here, but I think that might be policy, not law. Also, I don't know. That might be the police policies here now because they've had so much trouble with cops walking up and doing that, and people complaining and people trying to sue. See, I would also depends on where you live, country girl. Uh, check your laws and check their policies too. They may not have broke a law, and they may not have broke any of their policies either. So that's what I'd also check into. Um, different states have different policies and different laws. I don't know about South Carolina and that law. All I know about is Florida and Missouri. Missouri, they can walk up to your car like that, especially if it's nighttime. They can walk up to your car like that. In Florida, they have to be 3 to 4 foot away from your car. Big Nick just went live, guys. My battery's dying. I got 8% left. I'm gonna call the live stream. Let's go over to Big Nick. Check out what Big Nick has to say. Yes, he just went live. So, uh, um, and I will talk to you all later. I'll see you all over at Big Nick's. Okay. I love y'all. Y'all are great, great people for everything you do for me, and thank you for everything you do for everybody else. You all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. I'm out.